Hello, I'm Marta Vila, and I'm going to explain the evolution of the waste collection scheme in the municipality of Argentona, including the development of the pay-as-you-throw scheme. Some facts about this municipality. It's about around 12,000 inhabitants. They started with door-to-door collection in the city center and one populated area near the city center in 2004, and they extended to the whole municipality the door-to-door collection during the last year. Here you can see the first parts of the municipality to start with this collection and how they extend the door-to-door to very low density areas and very high density areas where they had to manage with some problems. The first scheme of this door-to-door collection were applied in June of 2004 for two fractions only, food waste and residual, and they kept their containers for the rest of the waste streams, and also they developed 5 emergency points. With this change, they increased the separate collection rate from 20% to 52%, taking into account that is only applied to the 75% of the population. They continued improving and extended the door-to-door from 2 to 4 fractions, including also light packaging and paper. They kept the containers for glass, and they reduced the emergency points from 5 to 1. The results of these changes were that they increased the separate collection to 64%. So there were still some need to improve, and they faced a new challenge applying a pay-as-you-throw scheme. The new waste tax had a fixed part that was paid by the annual invoice and a variable part that was paid per bag, and people had to buy these bags for like packaging and residual, so the final tax paid by the families were the fixed part plus this variable part. Also for only for economic activities, they paid also for the collection of food waste, but in this case they paid per volume, and they had some different bins with different volumes that they can choose. So what changed with the new commercial tax? In the previous scheme there were a flat tax with different quantities depending on the kind of activity and the surface, and the new scheme is also a fixed part depending on again the activity and the surface, plus a food waste, the part of the food waste and the part of the prepaid bags for light packaging and the residual that is the variable. For the domestic tax, again there were a previous scheme with a flat rate, the same for all the households, in this case in the door-to-door sector, and changed to a new scheme with a fixed part around 95 euros and a variable part with these prepaid bags for light packaging and for residual waste. Here you can see the bags and the prices for residual and for light packaging, and the different volumes of the different bins and caddies for commercial activities for food waste. But the most interesting thing in this case is all the process that they develop to apply the pay-as-you-throw scheme with different target groups. Around 1 year they were developing different actions, participation actions. After this, an informative campaign. After this, a testing period, and then at last they began with the real pay scheme in March 2010. This is an example of the different materials that they developed, in this case for the schools. And also they did a lot of meetings with the different target groups. You can see here some of the reports with the results of these meetings. For the informative campaign, it was really interesting because they maintained direct contact with all the citizens, because all the households had to go to the informative points to pick up their bags for the testing period. So during the testing period, for some months, they had to use the homologated bags for residual, for light packaging, and also for nappies. In the case of the bags for nappies, they were delivered for free. Okay, the results of applying this pay-as-you-throw scheme were that, first of all, a decrease of the waste generation, and also a slight increase of the percentage of separate collection. Only around 2% of increase of the total amount of waste collected separately. So they need still to improve. The objectives were to recover the participation of the waste tourism, those families that drive out of the municipality with their waste, especially for the light packaging, and also avoid a slight deficit in tax revenues. To reach this, the proposal was to change the scheme, and in this case they started to deliver to the families a certain amount of prepaid bags per family, taking into account the number of members of each family. Here you can see the number of light packaging bags and residual bags, taking into account the number of members of each household. The second homes were in the first stretch, and the commercial tax continues under the same scheme. The next year they decided to change again, and in this case the light packaging now don't need these prepaid bags, these homologated bags, and only for the residual waste is delivered by these homologated bags, prepaid bags. The last improvements to reach the objectives of separate collection were to extend the door-to-door scheme to the whole municipality, to promote home composting, especially in the very, very low density areas, and also to move the emergency area to the civic amenity, where always there is somebody who can explain to the families the best use of this emergency area, avoiding the bad habits among the families. Again, the extension of this door-to-door collection to these new sectors, remember, very low density or very, very high neighborhood with a very, very high density. They did a participation process, and they proposed different schemes to the inhabitants of this neighborhood. The first one were rejected at the beginning, and then 3 models were proposed, and with different meetings and explanations, etc., 1 model were chosen, and they started with the door-to-door collection in this neighborhood. The results of all this story in this municipality, the main result is that they reached this 86% of separate collection at the end of all these activities. Thank you very much. Here you have both emails of the Municipal Waste Technician, Joan Pujol, and also my Thank you very much.